Episode 126, Laughter for the Soul. Welcome back to One Extraordinary Marriage, where we talk about life, love, and the pursuit of intimacy. You're here with Alisa DiLorenzo.
And Tony DiLorenzo.
And here we are. I'm healthy again.
Yep.
So I don't feel like I'm, fighting congestion and whatnot to actually be able to hear Tony and be on the mics with you guys. And so, it's been, the kids go to summer camp tomorrow.
Yes.
So woohoo!
We're excited about that, just to get a
more
week.
importantly, they're excited about it.
Yep, we're excited about that.
We're excited about them being excited, and
we're excited.
Maybe there's a weekday rendezvous in our future.
Hopefully.
For those of you whose kids go to summer camp, it's something to think about. Lunchtime or after drop off, make some time for the two of you to spend time together, and take advantage of that those daytime hours that you might not normally get when the kids are home and around during summer. So
yeah, most definitely.
What else is going on?
What else is going on? Gosh, not much. We've had a pretty mellow weekend. We had dinner tonight with some friends, which was nice. Got to talk about One Extraordinary Marriage. I'll be talking to a pastor this upcoming week here in San Diego about One Extraordinary Marriage and what we've been doing. He just heard about it from our friend, and so I'm going to go in there and let them know what we're doing and see if we can possibly speak there, if we can possibly do a one-day intensive, do a small group study. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. We actually, last night at CRB, our church had a very, very special event there. I don't know how many of you out there have read the book Heaven is for Real by Todd Burpo. About the story of his son Colton, and Colton, when he was 3, was very, very sick, and it was an emergency appendectomy. The appendix burst. I mean, just craziness, and Colton almost died. Mm-hmm. But while Colton was in surgery, Colton visited heaven and was able to share things with his parents after he came out of surgery, and in the months and years that followed, that were really very revealing to them. And this book, it's been an amazing runaway bestseller. They were sharing with the audience last night. They've sold 7.5 million copies. I've read the book. Tony hasn't. But just this amazingly down-to-earth family from Imperial, Nebraska. Literally, you want to talk about heartland of America. Very much so. And so they were at CRB last night sharing their story. Yeah. And, just talking about, the father was talking about how, he wrestled, after this experience happened in their family, he wrestled with whether or not to share the story. And, he was saying that God made it very clear to him that sense of peace that he had when his son was restored was something that they needed to pay forward, that they needed to share that sense of peace with others. They needed to share their story. They needed to share Colton's experiences so that others could have that same sense of peace. And it was really interesting because as I was sitting there, it very much made me think of what we do here. That, if there's just one of you out there listening on any given week that hears something in what we say and says, okay, you know what? Got it. Yeah. That's what I needed to hear. And I was sharing at dinner tonight that when we started One, that's where we started. We started with the idea, because honestly, we would have never predicted when we started this podcast that we'd be recording episode 126. I thought we'd be lucky if we got to episode 10.
And as many of you have listened through the ages, we almost shut it down and gave it up in 85, 86, 87, one of those three. Area. Yep.
And yet, you as an audience share with us on a weekly basis what this podcast has meant for you, has meant for your marriage, has meant for your future marriages. Those of you that are single and engaged out there, that are listening. And, we love having our singles and engaged folks tuning in. You are a growing segment of our audience, and we're very thankful for you. Because we never figured when we started a podcast on marriage that we'd have singles listening to us. So that's a lot of fun for us to know that you're out there. But, really, it was just one of those things where hearing that dad speak last night made us realize that, we've been blessed in this thing called marriage. Mm-hmm. And while everybody's own marriage experience is unique, there are a lot of similarities that go across the lines once you say I do. And so we're honored on a weekly basis to be able to, kind of share what's going on in the DiLorenzo household and what's going on specifically in our marriage. And so we thank you for the opportunity to be on your podcast or on your iPod, iPhone, iTunes, streaming, Stitcher, wherever you find us. We're just thrilled that you tune in.
Yeah. And if you ever need anything and want to reach out to us, like many of you do each and every week via email, you can email us at info@oneextraordinarymarriage.com. You can also call us at 858-876-5663, and you can chime in. Let us know if a certain episode has made you pivot in your marriage. It's that point where you just said, aha, I get it. I need to make a turn here. Let us know. And it's not for Alisa and I. It's for us to be able to share with others out there, because the strength of the One Extraordinary Marriage podcast comes when others learn that they're not alone in issues that they are facing in their marriage. Lisa and I are doing our small group on Strip Down, and that's the power of Strip Down and the power of One Extraordinary Marriage, is sharing with other couples that they're not alone.
Right. That
others have issues. And many of us wear masks around because we don't want to show those. But when we do show them, it's what we've always said. When you take off your mask, you're in a community where you are not loved less, but you are loved more. Because we're going to embrace you, because we can truly and fully give you ourselves, and that way you can receive it, and then we can each love on each other, and grow. And it does take time, and it does take work, but that's part of the process. And where we're going to talk about tonight is an area that I think Alisa and I, for many years of our marriage, have sort of, it's not something we would say we think about often, but it is an area that when I hear the statistics and I hear the benefits of this particular thing, I wonder why we don't do it in our marriage more. And I know I've heard from other couples who do this a lot. They're joyful, they're jubilant, there's smiles on their faces. And for us in our marriage, we tend to be more stoic at times. We tend to be more stern, especially around our children. We tend not to let down our guard at times. We're very good at just, there's a way that we act around each other. And I'm not saying it's bad. We do very well around each other. But it's this one particular area that sometimes I wonder, I'm like, gosh, if we could just let go a little bit more, what could happen? What could possibly happen? And so what I'm talking about, and what we're going to talk about tonight, is laughter. Kids do it unabidedly. They just will laugh, and it can really get us going and us laughing. But take that equation out. Say you don't have kids, or your kids are older and they don't laugh a lot, or whatever it might be. But look at you and your marriage, and how much do you laugh? How often are you laughing with each other, chuckling? I will say in our marriage, I think we could go weeks. You know?
Absolutely.
We could go weeks without laughing. And this weekend on Facebook.com/OneExtraordinaryMarriage, I was just having some fun. I wanted to have fun there because not because I knew we were going to talk about laughter this week, but just that sense of, you know what? It's summertime. I'm sure many of you are running around, got the kids at home, whatever might be going on. It's hot for many of you out there in the Midwest and East Coast. It's like scorching hot, at least anyways here in the United States. Around the world, I'm sorry, I don't keep tabs on how everybody else is doing. So for all of you in South Africa, Australia, and Europe and Canada, I don't know how you guys are doing. I hope you're having a blessed week though. But I just wanted to just loosen people up. And so I put this up there, and it's a song by Tim Hawkins called, right, Hawkins?
I think so.
Hold on here.
This actually came to us from one of our listeners.
Yeah. From Ken. And it's Things Not to Say to Your Wife. So here we go. Take a listen. And it's a couple of minutes. So here we go.
I did the choreography myself. Hey honey, have you gained some weight in your rear end? The dress you wear reminds me of my old girlfriend. And where'd you get those shoes? I think they're pretty lame. Would you stop talking, cause I'm trying to watch the game? If you're a man who wants to live a long and happy life, these are the things you don't say to your wife.
All right, that's a little piece of that. I'll put the link in there. And so I showed this to Alisa because I put it up. For those of you who don't know, I pretty much do the Facebook stuff. Alisa will comment here once in a while. But I get back from a ride, and I was like, "Hey, did you see what I put on the fan page?" She's like, "No." She's like, "I sort of saw it, but I haven't been on there yet." It's like, "All right, well, come here and listen to this." And so I'm playing this, and I'm just rolling. I mean, I just came off of a 70-mile bike ride. I mean, 4+ hours on the bike, pretty torched, pretty tired, but I'm just laughing. And Elisa's just sort of sitting there going, yeah.
That's funny. I mean, I just, by nature, and it is just because I tend to live my life more keyed up, I don't find myself given to a lot of spontaneous laughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought it was funny, but it wasn't like, for me, it wasn't like fall over.
Yeah, but then I played some of his other ones.
Well, and they're funny, but I mean, not, for me, it wasn't like laugh out loud funny.
Right. So, and again, we're just bringing this up. Hey, for some of you may be going, well, what are you getting all worked up about it? Not getting worked up about it. I'm just saying there are just times when I feel like, wow, if we added laughter in more, what could that do? And so for this, we did a little research, because what are the benefits of laughter? Many of us have heard them. I know I've heard them before. And so I just wanted to see, okay, well, what if we were able to laugh more? What if we were able to just let go a little bit more and have fun with each other more? Out of the bedroom and maybe even in the bedroom, especially in the bedroom, because for many of us, that is an area and in a place where if laughter comes in, usually the spouse who isn't laughing gets dejected.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, because you're starting to go, wait a minute. Why are you laughing? Are you laughing at me? What I just did? It's sort of, we get so serious. And again, when I say we, it's Alisa and I, we get serious. And so when laughter comes into that bedroom, it really can throw us for a loop.
Sure. I mean, we've done it before. I don't remember if we share in the book or not, Stripped Down. one of the first times that Tony tried to pray as a couple in our bedroom, he started, and I just had that spontaneous, one of the few times I have spontaneous giggling. My husband decides, he's going to pray. And that's when I burst out into laughter. Not because of what he was praying was funny. It had nothing to do with his prayer. It had nothing to do with him. It was just kind of one of those, random fits of laughter. And that was something for us to have to work through. Because it was very much oh, great, what did I do that was so funny? I'm trying to pray. Mm-hmm. Now you laugh. And so you have to be able to have that conversation of, why are you laughing now? What is it? Especially, if you're trying something, new positions, and we've talked about this before, if you're trying new positions, they're going to result in laughter sometimes, because sometimes new positions are just awkward, or body parts don't go the way you think they're supposed to go. And sometimes it's just funny, you find yourself in this twister position, and sometimes it's funny getting into it. Sometimes it's funny trying to get out of it. But again, if you're the only one laughing, you've got to be able to explain why you're laughing without causing deep pain on the other side of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so let's just go over some of these things that we have come across and why laughter is so great for your mind and for your body and for your relationship, for that matter. Just sort of that's one of those walls, right, that we build up. And again, for Alisa and I, this is one of those areas where, it just doesn't happen often. But then we started doing some research, and I'm looking at the benefits. So here are some we're going to just rattle off here. Laughter relaxes the whole body. It says a good hearty laugh relieves physical tension and stress, leaving your muscles relaxed for up to 45 minutes after. I mean, how many of you know from going to a comedy club or watching something that just makes a TV show or a movie or whatever it might be, that you are on the floor laughing, and when you come out of it, you just feel so relaxed? As a child growing up, and even as an adult, there are a number of times that I can remember this happening, and this is usually around my mother. There are things that my mom can say and do that will just make me laugh, and she starts laughing, and her laughter is sort of contagious. And I can remember as a child, and even as an adult, just even a couple years back, just being at the dinner table, and it was my mom, my brother,